Reforms to the labour laws in India have been in the making for at least 20 years, ever since the National Commission on Labour submitted its report in 2002. The report found that the current laws are complex, with archaic provisions and inconsistent definitions. Finally, in 2019 and 20, Parliament passed 4 bills that seeks to streamline the many labour laws in the country. These will practically impact every employee and employer. Hi, my name is Itika, and in this video we will give an overview about the issues in the labour sector. In the following videos, we will look at the provisions of each of the labour codes individually. Most of the labour laws in the country today follow a threshold-based principle, which means that their applicability is dependent upon the number of employees in a given establishment. There are 2 sets of challenges that emerge out of this threshold principle. 1. Thresholds allow smaller companies to avoid compliance burden, but at the same time, it leaves out a large population of the workforce from important safety nets. For instance, companies have to register for the Employee Provident Fund if they have 20 or more employees on their payroll. 2. Thresholds also affect hiring decisions. Companies either decide to remain small or hire workers just below the threshold to continue avoiding compliance burdens. For instance, industries with 100 or more workers today need government permission before closing down factories or letting off workers. Industries have long been demanding an increase in the threshold. However, the decision to stay small affects the company's growth and output. As a workaround, businesses have been hiring contract labor, and in the past 2 decades, this has been steadily increasing.
According to the annual survey of industries report, the share of contract workers in factories among total workers increased from 26% in 2004-2005 to 36% in 2017-18. Contract labor give establishments the flexibility to adjust their workforce based on production demands and seasonality. But at the same time, contract workers don't have the same social protection as permanent employees, leaving them vulnerable.
There's more. When businesses see their employees as expendable, they do not invest in building human resource capital, which leads to a lack of a skilled workforce. Enforcement of labour laws has also been a challenge due to reasons like poor compliance, inadequate penalties, and rent-seeking behavior of inspectors. The labour codes have tried to address some of these issues.
First, the Industrial Relations Code introduces a new form of short-term labor, a fixed-term employment which entitles the worker to the same benefits and conditions of work available to permanent employees. Second, today, the 2008 Unorganized Workers Social Security Act provides social security and welfare of unorganized workers. With the emergence of gig and platform workers, the 2020 Code on Social Security contains provisions that allow the central or state government to notify specific schemes for gig and platform workers. Third, to make compliance simpler, the codes create enabling provisions for web-based inspection in some cases and third-party certification, and create some provisions for common registers and returns. Fourth, the codes retain some of the size-based threshold. The labor codes on wages and industrial relations apply to all establishments with limited exceptions. The codes on social security and occupational safety will continue to apply to establishments over a certain size.
We will talk more about these changes in our videos on each of these codes.